Hi garden friends, welcome back to my garden. We are nearing the end of August now, and it's been a lovely season. So I'm excited to start fall decorations. Actually, it's kind of bittersweet. I would like to get into fall and all of those things, but I feel like there's still so much I would like to gain from the warm weather. I've had some wins and I've had some, not so great wins, but I still count it all a blessing. What I'd like to work on today is deadheading a few hydrangeas that I got from Home Depot. There was a gentleman there. He says he was a plant vendor, and so he was there cleaning out the storage area he was there cleaning out, like arranging all the plants that they had outside, and I could see him putting things into piles, and one pile looked like, dragged down, they weren't blooming anymore, and another one looked really fresh and beautiful. So I just went over there and I said, okay, are these plants, are these plants going to be discounted? Like, what's going on with these plants? Are you throwing them away? And he said, we're throwing them all away. So if you want any, just go through it and pick up whatever you want. I'll give it to you, no charge, free of charge, for free. So anyways, I went through and I got 6 hydrangeas, and I got a fern that had mandevilla inside, and that was all. But these hydrangeas were beautiful. All of them were Macrophylla hydrangeas, like broadleaf hydrangeas. All of them were broadleaf, which I don't have very much experience with. I love the colors. Some of them were blue. The unfortunate thing was most of them didn't have their blooms on anymore, but I've had them in my backyard here for a little while. I'm just sitting. I went on vacation, came back, and I'm back to fix up my garden. And I got some new pots for them. They're actually right behind me right now, behind the camera, and I'm looking at them all. So I'm going to flip the camera and show you all that I got. Okay, so the hydrangeas, I've already gone out and I got some new pots. They're not new, they're used. They are thrift. I got it from Facebook Marketplace again. That is my favorite spot to shop. If I want like expensive looking items on, a cheaper or lesser budget, like on the cheap, to be honest, then I go there. These are the hydrangeas here. I got one here. This one is, I think I still have the tag on it. This is what it's going to look like. It is Pop Star hydrangea. Do you see how beautiful that is? It's hardy to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It grows about, what does it say there? 36 inches tall and wide, so that's about 3 feet tall and wide. And it prefers morning sun, partial shade, but really it's been sitting there for almost 3 weeks, almost a month, and it's been getting full sun, and it's been fine here. I just have to go through and deadhead these. This is what it had. It just looked like this, and he wanted to get rid of them. Poor plants. So I'm just gonna go through poor plants, but I'm happy to have them. But let's go through the others and I'll show you what I'll do. This one here is Bloomstruck hydrangea, and let's see if you can see it. Bloomstruck hydrangea, hardy down to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It also prefers morning sun and afternoon shade. And look at the color. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Look at this, the shades. Yes, so it goes 3 to 4 feet tall. 3 to 4 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet wide. So this is going to be bigger. I love the red stems. Look at this. Is this not gorgeous? This too was slated for the garbage bin. Then I have this hydrangea here, I put it in the pot and put it here. All of them are still in their containers. I just sunk them into the pot because I didn't really have much time to do anything else with it, but I still wanted it to be dressed up, even though it has dead flowers on them. But I'll take care of that. So this one is also a pop star. So the same thing as the first one I showed you. Very pretty. Oh my. Or is it the second one I showed you? Then I have this one down below. It still had some blooms on there, but it still needs to be cut back. And the blooms have faded to this kind of greenish pink. Still nice. I could cut it off and use it for fall arrangements or a wreath. This one doesn't have anything on it, so it'll be a surprise once it grows. But I'm sure it's one of the same varieties that I already have. But it's growing little shoots from the roots. It's still green. It's still a happy plant nonetheless. It just needs a little bit of care, which is what we're going to provide her today. Well, look, I found the tag. So it's not the same. This one is a summer crush. Also hardy to -30. This one grows, also hardy to -30. This one grows 18 to 36 inches tall. That's a huge range, so from a foot to 3 feet. And then the same with this width, 18 to 36 inches in width. Yeah, the same kind of shades as the other ones, but no blue, mainly purple. Very nice. So that's the one in the bottom over there. Then this one in here, I have 2 hydrangeas in there inside this beautiful container that I got from thrifting. And the first one on top, freshly watered by the rain. Thank you, Jesus. Doesn't have anything on it to let me know what it is. But with the red stems that I see here, I'm guessing it's also the bloom-struck variety because of the red stems. Okay. The last hydrangea is another summer crush. Isn't that exciting? Okay, so now that I've shown you all of the hydrangeas, what I'd like to do now is to go through and kind of cut off, any dry leaves. The dry blooms. I'm just gonna freshen up the plant. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is cutting it down to the next blooming. Let me show you. So this one, I'm gonna cut this dead stem off all the way to right here, where you can see a new shoot coming from the sides. And I think that would revitalize the plants. Now these plants, the hydrangea microphyllus, you have to be very careful with them when you cut them back because they bloom on old wood. So that means the blooms will set from old wood. If I were to cut it all the way down, I might forfeit some blooms for the rest of the season. I still have some time for it to grow new shoots, and that will be old enough for next year's show. But so because I still want to have a show this year from these hydrangeas, I'm just going to cut off the buds, the ones that have died, off to the next swollen lobe or to the next area that has a flower, blooming from it like this. So that's what I would use. In the spring, it's not recommended that you cut these hydrangeas back at all, like how you would do your regular pinnacle hydrangeas, because then you will be forfeiting your blooms for that season, that year. And it might come in the fall, but you won't get anything in the spring, early spring, late spring. You know, that show that you get from these hydrangeas early on in the season. They're like the first hydrangeas that start to bloom. So because I'm in the end of August, I still have September, a little bit of October left. Before we get a hard frost here, I'm hoping that I'll still get some flowers from these. But if not, I'll enjoy a clean plant that I know that I will get lots of blooms from next year. So that's what we're gonna go through and do. Okay, so I got my clippers. I'm gonna go through, cut it down to the next bloom down there. That should be good. I'm just gonna keep doing that for everybody. And while I'm doing this, I'm thinking about the shape of the plant too. So I don't want to cut off too much. So I don't want to cut off too much that I mess up the shape. So I'll be thinking about that as I go through, because I want a round shape. Okay, so I had to move the camera so you can see it a lot better. Now you can see this plant looks a lot better than it did before. It's a lot fresher. I don't mind seeing the green growth, but I see lots of new green shoots coming up. I did have to cut out a lot of dead branches, and I went through as much as I could right now to shape up the plant, just because I know that I won't have the opportunity to do it again, because I don't want to lose out on the show next year. So this will give it plenty of time to form new growth, and to have enough old branches to bloom on next season. And if it still wants to bloom for me this year, it still has more time to do so. So I'm gonna go and put this one back, and I'm gonna finish up. So all right, let's get to it. These plants can breathe now. I created a little bouquet on the table there with the old hydrangea blooms. So pretty. You can just see all the hydrangea blooms in there ready for fall, in this nice little green container that I got from the thrift store. And I just think it looks beautiful just sitting there. Probably just need a little squash and all these other things, mums around it, and create the look for this table. I did clean up this plant over here. It had some dead foliage. I think it's like a lily or something like that. It has some dead foliage in there from the chewing of the Japanese beetles. Clean up this hydrangea, looks so much better. And I cleaned up that one over there in this container. Now all of the hydrangeas are just sitting in here as per usual. You know what? I should probably cut off this stem. Okay, give me a minute. There, much better. As I was saying, they're all just sitting inside of the containers. Nothing in them yet. This container it's big, and I'll have to fill it up with soil, but I just don't know if I want the hydrangeas there permanently or for the rest of the season. I'm not sure if I'm going to plant it out into the garden. So I'm just holding off. So all of them are just sitting inside of the container, inside the containers I have in their nursery cans. Same with those two over there. I have one on top of the other, and I was trying to block it with the foliage of this, but it's still showing. I will have to figure out a situation for that. Maybe I'll have to pot it up on some bricks inside or something, put it on top of some bricks inside so that it stands straight, and then get another container for the other hydrangea sitting underneath. It's not crushing the hydrangea. There's a space over there, like there, right there, in the other pot that has nothing in it. So I just put this right inside, but it worked when it had all the blooms on it, but since I cut off all the blooms, I can see it now, so I'll have to figure that out. And then I cut this one up here, also inside this nursery can, and the one below. So you know what, I might plant these two because they're small enough, and if I want to change my mind, I would just kind of uproot them and plant them in the garden. So I'll plant 1, 2, and 3, and then these ones I'll figure out where I want it. But I do like it in this container, in the containers. I think they're beautiful just the way they are. Who knows? I might make some changes still. So I guess what I'm going to do now is try and complete this fall container that I have. I have a arrangement. The flowers are like they're not blooming as well. I sprayed this with a spray to kind of kill aphids, and it discolored my plants. It looks like it's not happy anymore. I'm never using that spray again. And the begonias have died back. They're not thriving anymore. This plant here is starting to grow again, but really it hasn't been giving me the show that I want, and I'm switching it out for fall colors. Yeah, and this is the other begonia. It was nice and orange and beautiful, but it's all gone, so I'm going to pull it out. I'll try and tackle it as quickly as I can, but I'm going to put the camera down. I'll be back with the flowers. 1 minute. Okay, so these are the mix of flowers over here. So I have this kale, I think, or cabbage. I don't know, it doesn't have a name on it, but I love how big it is. It's so humongous. I have 3 of them, and I have this fern, but I also have this purple fountain grass. So I'm not sure if I should use the fern as a centerpiece or the purple fountain grass, or have the fern just kind of sticking out in various places in the arrangement. So I'm still thinking on that, but I do like the colors here. Then I picked up this heather. This heather is hardy from up until zone 4, I believe, is it? It's hardy to zone 5, and we're zone 5. So we're going to be using this heather, and it's kind of an evergreen. So if I do well, if I keep it happy, it should, you know, remain in the container bright and happy until next year, so through the winter. Then I have this geranium. When I saw it at the garden center, I thought, oh my God, this is so bright. But I do like it for fall. I think it will lend itself well for the season, and it marries this viola so beautifully that I had to pair the 2 together in the container. This viola is called Admire Red Blush, which is very pretty. So I have that, and then I picked up this yellow pansy to kind of ring around as well. So we're going to put this inside of that container, and I'm hoping that it will be beautiful in the end. So let's see. it turned out beautifully. So here is the finished product. So I tucked in the 3 kales or cabbages, whatever they are, I don't know, one of the 2, all around the container. I also divided the ferns and added them inside the container, tucking them every which way that I wanted them to be. Then I went in and added in the orange geraniums. I did it in 3 quadrants, so one here, another here that I cut the flower off by mistake, but it'll grow, and another back there, you can see. So the geraniums will fill in this area over here. Tuck in pansies every which way I could. There's another yellow pansy underneath here, and a viola here, right next to the heather. And I managed to tuck in the purple fountain grass. Don't kill me. There's still enough time in the season for it to bulk up and kind of tower over this container just a little bit with its leaf heads, and just kind of showing us a different vibe up here, a different kind of, you know, aura, or different feel up here. And I feel like this marries the kale very nicely, and I just wanted that color to not just be down here but to also explode up here. So I'm waiting. I think it's only the end of August. We have about at least a month and a half, 2 more months, and I think this container will continue to grow. I think it turned out beautifully right in the middle of the garden next to our hydrangeas over there. Yeah, so this is for fall. I'm so proud of myself. Yeah, so that's the arrangement. I still have a mess to clean up. You can see that mess on the table and mess over here. But who cares? Let's focus on the beauty that is this container. Well, thank you all for joining me today.